Hey everybody, welcome back to the T26 channel and welcome to part 3 of our year in review series, where we're going to cover how our attacking players have done in the first half of their club seasons. To kick us off in this third episode of the series, we're going to start with Brenden Aaronson, and the Leeds man has impressed at the club level so far this season. I don't think I expected so much from him. I expected a little bit of a rough welcome back from the Leeds supporters and a little bit of adaptation time for him back in the championship this season. Going back to Leeds was always going to be a risk for him. We all questioned the support he would get, and we all questioned the playing time he would get and how he would fare in, such a physical league as the championship. And even with all of those questions around him, it's been a very positive start for him, playing over 2,100 minutes in 27 matches with 7 goals and 2 assists so far this season. He's been incredibly important for Leeds as they seek promotion back to the Premier League after this season, and they do currently sit in first place. Our little Brenden has found consistency, and we absolutely love to see it. His hustle and his energy still have a purpose with the US men's national team as a winger and as a sub. I don't want to see him at the number 10 again. I don't think he's a person who controls the pace of the game and does well in that long-term possession style, but he is somebody who we can rely on to provide consistent performances as a substitute and hassle defenses late in the game. To me, based on his club performances so far this year, he's in the S category, and I'm excited to see him fight for promotion with Leeds in the second half of the season. Next up on our list is Haji Wright, and Haji's in a similar position to what feels like a lot of our players this year, where he was off to a strong start with his club in the EFL Championship, only to have his progress derailed by injuries. To start off the season, Haji played 1,162 minutes across 17 matches for Coventry, while scoring 7 goals and adding 1 assist to his name. While this was a little bit slower than the start that he got off to last year, it's absolutely something that we were excited to see him build on. Unfortunately, he suffered an ankle injury in the middle of November and has yet to make his return to the pitch. We're hoping that he returns soon and can maybe make that Nations League roster in March to help give us a little bit of depth at the winger position. Due to his amount of time on the injured list, he's got to go in the N category for me, but a healthy second half of the year will see him easily jump up to M or even that S tier. Hopefully we can see Haji back very soon and he can help Coventry climb up the table as they currently sit in 14th. Third on our list is going to be Cade Cowell. And Cade is one of those players who's a little bit further down the pecking order when it comes to our attacking winger options. We saw him get called in the October window when we had what felt like half of our roster drop out with injuries. And, he was next up on the list. He's an extremely athletic depth piece for our roster, but he is limited by his technical ability. Cade Cowell is an absolute freak of nature when it comes to his physical stature, his size, his speed, but as the game gets a little bit more technical, we see him struggle a little bit. So far in all competitions for his club, Cade has 5 goals and 2 assists across 14 matches. He can be a very dynamic threat in what I would call small bursts. I would put him in the M category right now as he's playing about to his expectations, but he's not doing anything spectacular in Liga MX, and he's not doing anything above expectations like we would want to see if he was really going to push to solidify himself in the US men's national team A roster. Up next, we're going to talk about our team's most recognizable player, our Captain America, and that is Christian Pulisic. Christian has had almost a perfect first half of the season for AC Milan, and honestly, his move there over the last year and a half has gone better than I think anybody could have hoped for. Like we've all been hoping and praying for, we've seen Christian stay healthy for the better part of 2 years, and he's really building momentum and putting together long strings of high-quality performances. Christian has played 24 matches for his club so far this year, scoring 10 goals and adding 7 assists in just over 1,700 minutes. And in that time, he's proven himself to be one of the most reliable, consistent, dynamic attackers in all of Serie A. Not only does Christian have good numbers overall, but he has absolutely shut down the rumors that he was just taking advantage of weaker opponents. He's delivering big-time goals, performances, and creative play against some of the largest clubs in the league as well as in the Champions League. Moving to Milan is one of the best things that could have happened in Christian's career, and I don't think we could ask much more of him if we tried. He's the first of our attacking players to go in the U category, as he has been truly unbelievable in the first half of this season. Following Christian, we're going to stay in Serie A and talk about our starting right winger, Tim Weah. Weah has had a good first half of the season for Juventus, playing in yet another position. After spending time as a wingback last year, Weah has found most of his minutes on the right or left wing and even the center forward position this season. With 5 goals and 4 assists in 952 minutes across 21 matches, Tim finds himself as a locked-in squad member, but not a locked-in starter. He consistently contributes well and is drawing attention from other clubs, most recently rumored RB Leipzig, but as he has shown, he is enjoying his time in Serie A, he's enjoying his time at Juventus, he believes in the club, and the club continues to believe in him as well. He's going in the S category for me, as he's always looked effective for Juve when he's on the pitch. That being said, I would like to see his minutes go up in the springtime. If they don't, if he is potentially pushed out and his minutes are knocked down by a potential transfer coming in, I think we need to be worried and we need to encourage a summer transfer. But for now, he's performing, he's playing well, and he's looking dangerous in front of goal, which is something that we always like to see. Following Tim Weah, we're going to jump across the pond and talk about Alejandro Zendejas of Club America. Like Cowell, Zendejas is another depth piece when it comes to our attacking wingers who got minutes in the October window. With 4 goals and 5 assists in 19 matches for Club America and Liga MX, they make him a key player to the club's success, but we have yet to see that translate to the national team on any type of consistent basis. I'm going to put him in the M category because while he is performing well, he's not lighting the league on fire as we would expect from somebody who is going to gain minutes from our national team. He either needs to really step it up and increase his production with Club America, or seek a move to Europe and try and find more playtime there where he can make an impact on a consistent basis. All right, now we're going to move back over to Europe and talk about Folarin Balogun, who's playing for Monaco in France. Flo is our first true number 9 that we're going to talk about in our video today, and while we had really high hopes for him coming into this season, it hasn't gone quite to plan. The 23-year-old started off the season by getting continuous minutes with his club in League One and in Champions League play. He logged 564 minutes across 10 matches to start the season. While we didn't see Flo get on the score sheet early in the season, we did see him build momentum toward the back end of that 10-game stint, where he scored 3 goals and added 1 assist in his final 4 matches played in the 2024-2025 season. Right when he started to get hot, he dislocated his shoulder and saw some time away from the team. After making a brief comeback on December 1st, he re-aggravated his shoulder injury and has had to have surgery, and he's out until at least March. So that means he's likely going to miss the Nations League roster for us. With the slow start to his goal-scoring form and the long-term injury, I can only put Flo in the T category. However, I'm confident that a stretch of good health will come back and he'll be able to jump back into our striker pool faster than ever and climb that tier list very easily. There's a lot of talent and a lot of potential for this still 23-year-old striker. The second number 9 that we're going to talk about is not a stranger to anybody, and that's Ricardo Pepi. I'm so excited to talk about Pepi because he's having such a strong start to the season while also still having to fight for every single minute, building up his mentality and his strength. So far this year for PSV, Ricardo Pepi has 16 goals and 2 assists to his name in just over 1,000 minutes played. That's a goal contribution every 58 minutes. Getting on the score sheet at that kind of clip is unprecedented for the US men's national team, and we absolutely love to see it. Truthfully, I don't think we can ask a lot more of Ricardo Pepi, especially when he's not starting every single match for his club. Despite his incredible performances so far, Pepi still finds himself fighting for minutes with club captain Luuk de Jong. And while de Jong is a very good, very complete striker, he has only 11 goals and 7 assists across almost 1,800 minutes so far this season. Ricardo Pepi's contributing at a much higher clip, and he's been absolutely unbelievable this season for PSV. He joins Christian as our second attacker in the U category, and I would be shocked if he doesn't see his minutes increase for PSV in the spring. They're only 1 point ahead of Ajax in the standings in the Eredivisie, and they're going to need to rely on him and his consistent finishing if they expect to stay there. The third striker we need to talk about is Josh Sargent. And like many others, Josh has had what looked to be a very promising start to the season derailed by another injury. In his first 12 matches, Josh played almost 1,100 minutes and scored 4 goals and added 5 assists to his name. Unfortunately, Josh's productive form wouldn't last as he suffered a groin injury that set him on the bench for 13 league matches, and we've seen just how important he is to Norwich's success as they have fallen to the middle of the table and currently they're 11th place. They're going to need a big push in the second half of the season if they're going to be able to fight for promotion. I'm really hoping for a healthy second half of the season for Josh where he can refine his form, refine his confidence, and help Norwich make a push for promotion. And if they don't get that promotion to the Premier League, Josh needs to seek a move to a top 5 league. He's learned, he's grown, he's contributed and found form with Norwich, and now he needs to do it at a higher level. I think he's ready to make a jump back to the Bundesliga and really start making an impact for a consistent, strong team. Like Flo, I have to put Josh in the T category due to how much time that he's spent sidelined for the first half of the season. The final player that we're going to talk about is, in my opinion, our 4th true striker on the depth chart, and that is Brandon Vasquez. Brandon played the first half of the season with Monterrey in Liga MX and just completed a transfer back to Austin FC in the MLS. While in Monterrey, Vasquez only played 682 minutes across 20 matches, scoring 4 goals and adding another assist to his name. The inconsistent minutes for a striker are not ideal, and hopefully he can find some form back in MLS, but we do have a little bit of ways until the MLS season kicks off. Currently, like I said, I think he's the 4th striker on our depth chart, but if I'm speaking honestly, I would rather see a player like Tim Weah slide into that number 9 position if we have more injuries and let our depth at our wingers really bolster us there. Due to the lack of minutes and goal production, Vasquez is going to go in the N category for me. It's not as terrible as Sargent and Flo, who are dealing with long-term injuries, but he wasn't performing well, he's not doing good, and he's getting a fresh start in Austin. All right, guys, that's all the attacking players that we're going to cover in part 3 of this 3-episode series. And before we go, I do want to address that I know I've left a few players off of this list, whether they are on the verge of making their debut or, very close to being a depth piece for us, and I'm going to address some of those players now. I didn't cover them because they either haven't contributed to the US men's national team very much this year, they're still kind of on the cusp of making that debut, but I'm not confident they're going to be in our roster, or they've just been injured for the entire season and there's absolutely nothing to cover, but they're not a key part of our roster like Serginho Dest. So going through those players, we've got Leonard Maloney, Richie Ledesma, Cole Campbell, Kevin Paredes, and Paxton Aronson. I'm very well aware of these players and the push that they're making to solidify their performances with their club and get into the US men's national team. I don't think that Maloney, Ledesma, Campbell, Paredes, or Paxton are very far off. I think that a lot of them are contributing at a very high level. With the exception of Paredes, everybody's been healthy this season and performed very well. Richie Ledesma's filled in very solidly at the right back position for PSV. Leonard Maloney's looked incredibly consistent for Heidenheim at the number 6 position. Cole Campbell's got some good minutes and exposure for Dortmund in the Bundesliga. And Paxton Aronson is one of the best players at the 3rd place club, Utrecht, in the Eredivisie. They're all making a push to get on this roster. Paredes has unfortunately been injured for the entire season, and he's got a big fight on his hands if he wants to continue to be a part of the national team picture. He needs to find health and consistency before he's really going to make that fight. Okay, that's officially everything that I've got for you. Drop a like, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Who are you most excited to see play in the second half of the season? And what do you expect of those players? We'll talk to you next time.